God gave John Paul the strength to be an unforgettable human being. Let us give thanks for the joy he spread his whole life long.
Everything bad that could have happened has happened. Except that.
What a terrific series this is. Honestly, it's so extreme in terms of the morality, and it's just so familiar and warm because of the sisterhood. I'm confused, but I love it.
No, but that's great.
Did you see Jean-Pierre as a bad person or a damaged person, or someone who was just completely damaged, ill?
Well, I mean, I suppose, yeah, but I mean, that's sort of the end result of it, isn't it? But that's, as an actor, I don't feel you can't really start with that. You need to sort of, what you just said in the beginning, I love that you like the reality of this, because we banked all our money on that. I think we instantly knew that we needed this to be real. We needed this to be something that you could, because it is heightened, isn't it? But we needed it to be something you can identify with and you can find yourself in that. Because if it was like some way, if you went, oh my God, that's so odd and weird and so out there that I can't really believe in it, then we'd be in trouble. So I love that you said that in the beginning, that it has that reality to it. And I think that's what we went for. So I didn't set out to play someone who was damaged, or I just really did what I could to be as truthful as possible on the day, in that situation, in that moment, and then have the whole thing built, the whole damaged thing of it. I think that's how I sort of saw it and went about it. Yeah.
Wow. That is like a hands-off kind of an approach from an audience point of view, because you are one bad husband.
Yes, I am. Yes.
And Anne-Marie, now your character doesn't really do a lot to defend herself from his hostility. And I'm wondering if it's because she prefers just not to notice, or because he's kind of beaten her into, not beaten, but, got her into a state of numbness. What is your take on her response?
Well, it's a coercive marriage. That's the dynamic of the relationship. It's a very abusive relationship. So she's been diminished and reduced and made to feel incapable or too ashamed to acknowledge what she's allowed to happen to herself, or she's just feels so confined, and to have the wherewithal to walk out of the door would be a Herculean task for Grace. It's so easy, isn't it, for people to sit on the outside of those relationships and find it bemusing or puzzling as to why somebody doesn't walk away. But when you're inside of it and you lose yourself, it's almost as if you lose the ability to move your feet because you're not grounded anymore. And so when we meet Grace, she's a sort of translucent version of herself. And so we don't really know who she is, apart from her being a wife, a mother, and a sister. We don't really understand who that woman is. And I guess that was for me a wee bit of a challenge, because usually I find myself inhabiting women who have all sorts of trials that they have to win and, combat. And so it was extraordinarily different in terms of the way that I would normally work.
Well, that's interesting, because that really applies to both your characters. I don't really understand them, but I see what they're doing, and it hurts. I think there are a lot of women in that position, and it's so resonant, really, I think, to a huge number of people in the audience, and we don't know their story either. So it's just being human, I suppose. But then why, Claes, does he pick on the neighbor, the elderly man?
The elderly man. We mustn't tell Michael.
Oh, Michael can't hear this. Why does he do that? Because he can. I don't. He does that I mean, the only thing that he does, this character does all the time, I feel, is like always trying to find someone to pick on, to sort of have a feeling of, you know, rise above himself or something. So he's always putting other people down in order for himself to feel better or something. And I feel it's the whole thing that's driving, this is what I thought, and it may not be real, but that you know, he's always trying, he has a feeling that everybody's trying to sort of do something weird with his family. The neighbor comes over, he's always bringing these weird little oysters or clams or whatever, and the sisters bring all kinds of weird shit into the house, and they always, I have a feeling that he's always just trying to keep people out of the bloody house and let me just have my family to myself. And for some reason, I feel if he felt more at home in himself and more secure, I don't think he would have a problem with people coming over, offering oysters or whatever. But because he's like,
he's so afraid.
You're trying, yeah, he's so afraid. So he always feels that they're sort of trying to do something to him or manipulate him or try to sort of, you know, get in there and he, yeah, if on a better day, he'd be able to see it more clearly and that these people are lovely and well-meaning, but he always misinterprets it and feels that they're sort of trying to do something nasty to him. And I feel that's where it all comes from, that he can't sort of just appreciate the fact that, hey, you can actually come over to the house with a packet of oysters and not mean ill. But I think this character sees it for some weird reason, he sees it differently. That was a very, very long answer to a very short question. Sorry about that.
Very good answer. Very good answer. And I must say, I appreciate the complexity and the power of the sisters, and everything about it is just so good. And I can't wait for season 2. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Take care.
Who knows if there's foul play here, but if there is, the culprit usually shows up at the funeral.
All right, Columbo.
Claflin and Sons were handling John Paul's life insurance policy. Were you very close?
Yeah, he was our brother-in-law.
My condolences, Mrs. Williams. Oh, egg and onion. It's like you knew I was coming. Did you?
She can't find out what we did.
Do you like it?
Can I grab her yourself?
I know you don't think he's a good man.
Families, they're complex.
I'm warning you. She doesn't respect you because you're weak.
I found myself an old red tattooed on a sign.
She wasn't always like that. He's sucking the life out of her. Well, we'll just have to wait till he dies of cancer or something. Why not give nature a helping hand?
You're talking about taking a man's life. Not a man, but monster.
I'm on a roll.
That's demented.
You're gonna land yourselves and me in jail.
I'm hungry. You?
No.
There's no evidence. We should be looking for fraud. Murder is fraud, and there's a life policy to pay out.
It's not happening. It was one moment of madness. 2 moments of madness.
You're vile. Do you know that?
I'm on a roll.
You can't just explode a man.
He thinks someone's trying to kill him.
That's insane.